What's up, Streetboard family? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Simon Johns, and today I'm going to show you how to film and edit Streetboard clips using just your iPhone. Now, a small disclaimer, I will be using a premium editing software app called Lumafusion. It is currently priced at $29.99, but I cannot recommend this app enough. I've been using it for at least 3 or 4 years now, and it's my only editing app that I'll ever use on my iPhone. I definitely think it's worth that price tag, as it does compare to some higher end software that you'll find on desktop computers. The one important feature that it does have is keyframing, which is going to be the basis of this video. At the moment, the app is only available on iOS for Apple devices, but Android users, you should still stick around, as I'm sure there's also a premium editing software application for your platform, and this workflow will probably apply to that as well. So there's nothing quite like filming with the homies, and I highly suggest if you've got a group of friends, you should all just go out and film each other skating, because it's a ton of fun and it's something that gets progressively harder as you get older. When you find yourself at a solo session at the skate park, a tripod will have to become your best friend. While a static shot is a viable option, with a little bit of editing, you can turn a clip like this into a clip like this. Now, because of the shape of our phones, content is usually viewed vertically rather than horizontally, and therefore most people choose to film vertically. I would argue that even if you plan to deliver your content onto a vertical screen, that you should still film your content horizontally. You have to put a little more thought into your composition, but the results do speak for themselves. Using grid lines is going to be the easiest way to compose your shots. These can be toggled on and off in your camera settings on your phone. You can see that when turned horizontally, the screen is divided into 3 sections that also happen to resemble a vertically shot video. I know that the tricks I will be doing in this example will be on the rail, so I will do my best to use the center third to show as much of the rail as is possible. I then make sure that the 2 outer thirds show enough entry and exit for both the top rail and the down rail. So before you hit record, make sure you're filming in the highest resolution possible. I like to shoot in 4K because it allows me to digitally zoom in without too much loss in quality. I also like to shoot at 60 frames per second, just in case I want to add some slow motion effects. I will not be doing that in today's example, but I still make sure to shoot in this setting just for peace of mind. If your phone can only do one or the other, then I would prioritize the higher resolution, as it's going to give you more flexibility in the editing suite. So let's jump over to the phone and edit a clip that I filmed earlier this week. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is boot up Lumafusion, and then I am going to create a project. I am going to do the frame rate. I will do it at 24 because that is what I am recording this entire video in at the moment. I did record, like I mentioned earlier, in 60 frames per second, just in case I wanted to do any slow motion. And then I'm going to turn the aspect ratio to 9:16, which is portrait, and then color space is something we don't need to worry about today. So let's create this project, and then you are going to select your videos, and then I know that this down here was the original clip, and then I'm going to select, or just before I come in, there's the first trick. And then this is a very wide shot, and coming back for the second trick down the rail. Let me just give it a touch more exit, and then I'm going to pop that on the timeline. Now you can see that on the timeline it is in the vertical aspect ratio, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way to the beginning, and I'm going to double tap the clip, and I'm going to position the x-axis all the way over to here, because I know that this is the side of the screen that I'm going to enter. Then I'm going to tap this little button over here. This is the keyframe button. This is kind of the foundation of this entire video, is keyframing yourself to different parts of the shot and zooming in and out and basically tracking yourself using these keyframes. So I'm going to put a keyframe right here at the beginning of the video, and I am going to go some frames in and wait until I start to enter the shot. I might have given myself a bit too much room on this side. Over a second now and there I start to creep in the shot, so I'm going to wait until I don't have to be dead center, but there is fine. and I'm going to stick another keyframe there. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the next keyframe as soon as I land in the front board on the top rail. That's going to be fair old way down, maybe about there. And then I'm going to position this across here. And then what I'm going to do is just to spice things up is I'm going to zoom in. That is the beauty of 4K. You do have a little bit of wiggle room if you want to zoom in without too much loss in quality. And my general rule is about 150. That's usually as zoomed in as I will go. So I'm just getting rid of that. And I think that's okay. I might just position myself a bit more in the center there. And then what I'm gonna do then is go all the way to where I have to turn around, or roll down fakie in this case. So it's just starting to move out of shot. So I'm gonna have a guess that it's about there. And I'm gonna move over here. Sometimes if you run out of space here, you might have to manually adjust with your fingers. Also, when you move the framing with your finger on the screen, it will automatically set a keyframe for you. So I probably don't want that keyframe there specifically, so I will wait until I'm about there. And I'm going to stick another keyframe there, select the original keyframe that it did automatically, and then just use this button right next to the keyframe button to delete that keyframe. And then let's just go back to the beginning and see how we are looking so far. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So what I'm gonna do then is wait until I get back to the rail. So let me just play it a little bit to speed this process up. I think about there, I'm gonna start getting on the rail. I'm gonna move this back over. And I think with this shot, I'd like it to go back to its original size. So I will just go back to the size toggle, double tap that to get it back to the center. And now I'm a little bit slightly off up there, so I'm gonna double tap the x-axis, double tap the y-axis, and now I'm dead center. Press play again. It looks like I've gone out of shot already, so I'm just gonna move a few frames back until I come back in shot. And I am going to position this there. All right, and before I do anything else, I'm just gonna see how this looks. All right, so we've got a pretty good shot at the moment. There is a few bits of unnatural movement. So what I'll typically do is I will just go back through. I'm going a bit too much out of the frame there, so I'm gonna move that so I'm back in center. And like I said earlier, it's gonna automatically put a keyframe there. And then it looks like it's moving too quickly after I pause to come back down fakie. So I'm gonna move this back over here, and let's see if that looks a little bit better. Looks like it's not too rushed. I still don't quite like it that much, so I think this part here might zoom in a bit too fast for my liking. So let me see what happens if I remove this, and I'll position myself back there again, and let's just try from this shot. Look at exactly what's going on. There we go, that's a little bit more reasonable. And then maybe what I'll do just to spice things up is here, maybe I'll put a little keyframe and just do a very slight zoom. Nothing too crazy, that's probably a bit too much. Just for there, and I will put that all the way over to the end, and let's just have one more look. All right, so I can go back and I can see exactly where I need to cut the end off here because there's too much landing noise. And we're currently at 15.17 seconds, so maybe I can just shave a tiny bit off the beginning, maybe about there. All right, let's have a look. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that one. I'm going to go ahead and export it to my photos. I'm going to leave everything on the recommended setting. It always seems to work out pretty well for me. Just hit the export button. It's going to render the movie and save to photos, and now it is ready to upload straight to social media. So hopefully you found some value or at least entertainment in this video today. If you have any other tips for editing your social media clips, leave them in the comments down below. And let us know if there's any other videos you'd like to see from myself or the Dragan team. If you're not already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the latest content, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.